Welcome to the Crane Operator Rescue Training. This diagram shows you the cranes that are located at the Stratus construction site in Snowmass. A couple key points to note are the winch platform, the winch, the anchor point for high directional pulley, and the outlet to plug in the winch power. When climbing the crane ladder, you'll notice you're inside of that safety tube. You're going to need to make sure that your radios are secured so they don't grab that cage and fall off, and also that you'll be wearing a helmet and class 2 harness. Once you've reached the main deck of the crane, you're going to assign a winch operator. They'll climb that next section of ladder and sneak out through the cage and out onto the winch perch. Once you get onto that red mesh decking that you can see there, you're going to use your Purcell prusik, the adjustable orange prusik, to tie yourself in. After tying yourself in, you'll want to grab the remote for the winch and send the power cable down to the main deck where the rest of your team can help you plug that in. The winch power cord gets plugged in right next to the crane operator booth underneath the main power panel. In the training evolution, you'll see Dwayne climb the ladder as the winch operator, secure himself off with his Purcell prusik, and grab the winch remote. The winch operator will send the hook all the way to the ground. The attendants working on the ground will use an anchor strap to attach the rope rescue bag, any needed EMS supplies, and also the figure 8 end of the second rope to go all the way up with the hook to serve as the tagline. An important step here is to include the patient harness in one of the rope bags that goes up to the deck. The patient harness can be found in the harness bag and will be needed to properly lash the patient in the Stokes litter on the crane deck. Sending the figure 8 end of the second line for the tagline is a critical step not to be missed. You'll need to be able to control your load going up and down. As the load makes its way to the main crane deck, the team members will communicate with the winch operator to bring it up and over the edge and start patient packaging. Remember that you'll have to send a patient harness up with the rest of the gear so you can efficiently package the patient in the Stokes litter that will live in the crane permanently. It's important to make sure that the bridle is connected properly to the litter. There are 4 specific eyelets that the carabiners are hooked to for the bridle. Also ensure that's adjusted evenly and without tangles. Make sure you're familiar with the proper function of the safety belts for our litters. Now it's time to harness your patient. Start with the waist belt, wrap it around and connect it and secure it tightly. And then the leg loops are red to red, gray to gray. Similar to the cots in our ambulance, the top two straps are going to go over the patient's shoulders in an X pattern for the torso. The bottom straps go across the waist and legs. After securing the patient with the primary straps, you're going to use Purcell Prussics in a V pattern. Girth hitch to one side of the Stokes litter, gone through the belay loop of the patient's harness in a V pattern down by the legs. Use a carabiner to adjust it on the far side and adjust it to be tight to prevent the patient from sliding up or down. After tightening the first Purcell Prussic, you'll want to do the second in an opposing V pattern with the same tactic. Girth hitch on the side rail through the belay loop of the harness, using a carabiner to attach it to the far side, and then adjusting the tension. At this point, all patient lashing, rigging, carabiners, ropes, and winch cable need to be double checked to verify security and safety. The winch cable and hook are our primary line. They will do the lifting and lowering. We'll use a single rope and an MPD set up to an anchor with a high directional pulley as our belay line. In the training, Rachel's going to use the side rail anchor plate of the second story window as her anchor with an anchor strap, MPD running the rope through it. When setting up the NPD, lay it upside down flat in your hand. You can see the diagram shows the load on the short side. The load is going to be attached to your figure 8, so that'll be on the short side. Twist it closed, flip it around, hook it to your carabiner. If you're unfamiliar, more videos can be found on the File Center. Now you'll need to rig up your high directional pulley using an anchor strap, wrapped a few times to shorten it. Run the rope through the pulley and hang it. On the crane, you can see Matthew used an eyelet attached to one of the large machines. Any large eyelet on the crane is rated for heavy loads. So if it looks bomber, it is. When setting up your high directional pulley on the crane, the winch operator will have the best access to that large horizontal tube. There's a large eyelet that you can girth hitch your anchor strap to and hang your pulley from it. Attach your tag line to the foot end of the patient litter. Now it's time to rig the belay line to the bridle. This is going to be a long tail bowline run through the primary ring of the bridle. You're going to tie a bowline at that point, right at the ring, making sure you have a long tail that's long enough to reach the patient's harness. After you've tied your bowline directly at the main bridle ring and it's dressed properly, you're going to do a figure 8 follow through the patient's harness to incorporate the 2 Purcell prusiks that you've used earlier. The figure 8 follow through starts by wrapping the 8 that you saw there, go through the waistband and incorporate both Purcells, and then just a standard figure 8 follow through to complete your patient's primary attachment point. And finally, attach your winch hook to the bridle ring. When you're ready to lift, use verbal commands to coordinate with the winch operator to go up and over the edge. The belay line operator is going to want to make sure they don't have too much slack, but that they're also not creating tension using the MPD to slow down the winch.
We know when you want to go out. Foot out. Leg out. Cable up. Cable up. Lay out. Lay out. Stay lower. Stop. $5 feet.
5. 3, 2, 1. On the ground. Stop cable.
Stop. Let me know when you're disconnected. We'll bring the hook back up to lower gear.
Copy that.
Thanks for watching the crane operator rescue video. Now it's time to gather the gear you'll need, get your crew, and head to the Station 45 training tower to run through the evolution yourselves.